Hello, my name's ArbieG and welcome to today's video. Today we are at round 2 of the Nations Cup, the FIA Nations Cup on GT Sport. And we're just about to jump into the qualifying here. Again, just like with all the other videos, we're not going to watch the full qualifying session, just the best lap that was put in over the 10 minutes. So you can see this is round 2, so we've already got points in the bag from round 1, 34 points. So looking at that, it puts us like second or third, second place in terms of points. But let's see how we get on in qualifying and see if we can set a decent lap time after the manufacturer's performance on Saturday, which wasn't bad, but we sort of underperformed when it comes to qualifying, making the race in general a lot harder. So you can see here, this is my second attempted lap during this. Ran a little bit wide there on turn 1, but still not a bad line there. Only lost a couple of attempts going through that. So this track at a Kyoto driving park, this particular one, which is like a reverse course, so it's not the regular course, it's like the reverse of a course, is I won't lie, it's horrible. I don't really enjoy this track this way round. I imagine the other way around it's actually quite a lot of fun, but this way round it's pretty awful. Not awful, it's just there's a couple of sections on it where, here in particular, you've really got to put your car on the line in order to get the most time out, or you can take the safe route, which loses you about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. So it's a real hard judgment to make coming down there, whether you take the risky line, which is coming off wide, purposely pulling yourself off the track and braking there, hoping you've got it right, and then sort of sliding your way through both of the turns, or you sort of brake a bit earlier, ease yourself in a bit easier, and sort of hit the apexes quite nicely, but you'll just not get that extra time. So I had to try and learn that line. This bit can be a bit tricky as well. You can get through this full throttle, which I had to come off the throttle there at the end of the lap, because at the end of those S-bends, because I hadn't hit the apex on the second S. But we seem like we've got a good line through here. So you can see our previous best lap is a 1:56.3, which is about 3 seconds below my best, so it's certainly not best. And you can see that I set a 1:55.1 as my best lap during the qualifying, which, quite honestly, a little bit disappointed by. I know I can hit the 1:53s. So we're going to the race now with our little cinematic to warm us up, and then we'll see where that has lined us up on the grid. So today's race is going to be 13 laps. We are racing on the sports soft tyres, and that's the only tyres we're allowed to use. So we're going to have to worry about swapping around any of the tyres to different types of stuff. I do have a strategy. My strategy in this one is to not pit. It's just to run away all the way through with enough fuel. The tyres will be pretty worn by the end, but I did do this in practice and ran sort of laps, and I can hold it on the track and still run relatively decent times even with the tyre wear. So we've got that chap who was actually in our race on Saturday on pole. So they're running, 1:53s down here. If I'd run my best lap, I would have been up here in pole. You can see a 1:54.5, so we are a little bit further back in the grid. So you can see we are quite a way back here. A little bit further back than I'd hoped to get, actually. Like I said, if I was targeting to get roughly a 1:54, because I can't expect myself to run my best time in my qualifying when I've done hours and hours of practice. But I'd done a warm-up beforehand, and I'd hit a 1:53 twice in about the distance of about 4 laps. So I was relatively confident I'd be able to get it, but those first 2 laps didn't quite come through. I sort of ran a bit wide in a few places and sort of wasn't able to go full throttle in a couple other places. And then when I went into my 3rd and 4th qualifying lap, I got a track penalty on my 3rd lap, and then that kind of ruined my 4th lap as well, unfortunately. So we're away here to a grid start then. You can see a lot of traffic, so let's see how we go going into this sweeping turn 1. As we are in 8th position, and let's see how this goes. As we take a bit of contact and we've got pushed to the side of the track. Number 8's got spun out and a few people are wide there. We've gone wide, so it's not a great line for us, and you can see we've dropped a lot of places there. A really busy track. Hopefully we'll see if we can just survive as we get bumped by the start from the side there, from the, I don't know what flag that is. I want to say Chile, but I don't think it is. So Rio Blaster, I'll call him by his name. As we look on the outside of him, but we just want to keep ourselves quite neat and just try and take our racing line if we can. But we're sitting in 12th position, so we've got this guy in 11th in a really awkward place there. He's off the racing line, and it just means that I don't really, I saw that coming. He's knocked me. I've come off. I don't know if I went into him or he went into me. It was a bit of a hard one to judge because this is such an awkward part of the track, and he was just sat in a very awkward place where perhaps I should have sat in behind him and then took the line and see if I can get him on the exit. So this has been a very bad start. We're all the way down to from 8th place into 14th, so we've dropped six places altogether, whereas we've got a yellow flag warning, so we can't overtake as someone's come off the track, and we move up to 13th. It's still quite a packed area here, so there still could be a lot of movement that happens. You can see the front 3 to 5 are starting to pull away a little bit, and I think really for what we're looking at here, we're just aiming to reclaim 8th if we can. So someone took a bad line through here, so are we going to climb and position it? No, we didn't quite get it, but we've got a much better line through here, so hopefully we'll be able to get the exit speed as we come out through into the home straight, finishing off the first lap. Like I said, a really sort of disappointing start. These guys have got penalties, so hopefully that should give us a chance to really catch up as we sit in behind 11th place. And you can see we've moved up slightly to 12th, but what's going to happen through this turn? We've kept it clean, we've taken the outside line, sitting again behind in 13th, and we might wait for our next opportunity as we look to the inside here, but again I think it's going to close that gap, although we've managed to sneak in there, and we take a hit on the side from number 12 there, but he got awarded a 1-second penalty for not paying aware if he was on the road. So a lot happening here at the minute. We're still sitting in 14th position, 13th or 14th. Really congested race so far. We've got these penalties in front of us, which hopefully should give us a bit of breathing room, allow us to make some passes as number 13th, the Polish, slips in front of me there. But it means it's not nice. It's much harder when you've got someone else on your side, as I took a little bit of a bump from the Spaniard behind me. But we've got a good line through here as we come up through and claim a few positions. So we go up to 12th and we go up to 11th, so some people took some really bad lines. That is a real key part of the lap, how you take that chicane. You can come out exiting at 90 miles per hour, or you can come out exiting at 60, and it makes a world of difference in terms of the straight that precedes it. So we're just sitting in 11th now as the Poland looks to come on the inside, but we look like to defended that well as we still sit behind 10th position, who looks like they broke a little bit, so we had to take a really wide line there, try and readjust our speed as we come round to the final turn of this. We actually got a half-second penalty for a cut in the corner there for the breaching the track limits, but quite honestly it was either crash into at the back of him or head off the track. So half-second penalty, not ideal, because we're going to get that a real awkward part in the race, but we'll just have to deal with it. So come round now, the first turn, sitting in 11th place. Quite a busy race so far. Like I said, I think what we're looking at, sorry, we're in 11th place, I thought we were in 10th. We're in 11th place. What we're looking at here is the best we can hope for is probably trying to reclaim 8th and trying to work our way back. I mean, it's still a lot of race left. We're in our third lap out of 13 here, so still a lot of race left to go. But at the same time, we need to We need to be realistic about our aims and look at that. So looking at the distance, about half a second behind the guy in front and about a second in front of the guy behind us. So we've got a little bit of breathing room behind, but we do have that half-second penalty, which isn't just half second because you lose all of your pace on the straight as well. So you lose the half second from the initial slowdown, which we're about to get now, and then we'll lose a bunch of pace going along the straight. So there's our penalty served. Can we hold our position in 11th? Which they are coming up very close behind, a lot of speed. It looks like I might have just covered that turn off, and now we should all be at equal speeds. Now we've had to come off and get down to about 100 as we come up through here. Looks like we're taking a great line through there. Not allowed them into my slipstream either. So we're sitting in this nice pretty gap with these, a lot of trading paint between 8th and 9th position. Braking there by 10th, which, like I said, I don't even try and come off the throttle here, so had to readjust for that, which probably would have given the chaps behind us a chance to catch up. As you can see in my rear view mirror, I've got 12th position right up me there, as we try and keep in the Spaniard slipstream without drifting too wide, which we haven't done. We've taken a great line through that, coming out at 95, sitting in slipstream here. Are we looking to take the overtake? We looks like we're in a good place too. We've got the pace, we've got the inside. Are we going to get the better braking? Yeah, he broke really early there, giving me plenty of opportunity to get on the inside. All we've got to do is make the turn right, and that is us moved up now to 10th as number 9 runs wide and 8th gets a penalty, and we're looking on the outside here. He's come to squeeze that gap a little bit, maybe a little naughty to come and make contact there, but he messed up himself and he broke really late and ended up coming off the track anyway, and we get the position. Totally fair of him to squeeze that space, but to come and make the contact is probably a little bit naughty, as we are now reclaimed 8th place. So it's actually not bad, moving through that quite horrible pack there, and now we either try and secure our 8th place, make a bit of distance and make ourselves sit ourselves in this nice little gap, or we can try and push up to 7th, or you know, let's see what happens. But we're going to skip forward now to lap 6. As you can see now, we're in lap 6 coming down the S-bends here. Still got a bit of a gap with the guys behind us, but we took an awful line through here and we've hit the barrier a little bit, had to concede, had to slow down a little bit there and concede the position, 8th position to Joe. So we've dropped back down to 9th, so now we are 1 position down from where we were at the start of the race. So we've got a little bit of work to do trying to claw this back up, as we almost run wide there, but we managed to hold it on. Still managed to come out with a decent exit speed of about 93, 94. So in this car you need to long shift, so you need to, so you can see here I'm letting it ride right to the top of the rev range before I gear up. Oh, and I got hit on the inside there, really, I don't know if that was naughty. We might have to have a re-look at that one, because that overtake was a bit naughty. So you can see we're looking at his viewpoint of here, he's sitting behind me in my slipstream. He comes to sit on the outside, quite similar to the move I did last time, but my braking was much better, and you can see he's just hit me there, knocked me off wide, and did not get a penalty at all. It was a soft touch, and he did have the inside on me, but he didn't have the braking, he didn't have the gap to be able to pass me. So a bit of a naughty overtake there, but we aren't too far away from him, just sitting behind him here, and let's see if we can show him how to do a clean overtake. So this is my frustration probably with the penalty system there, and penalty only awarded really when it's a significant hit. If you're trading a bit of paint, or if you get a bit of a knock, which can make the world of difference. You know, if you get knocked at the wrong point, can ruin your entire race, and then someone drives past with no repercussion and no impact on the safety rating. But you can see here we got a much better exit on that chicane and did a nice clean overtake on the inside there, and now we've reclaimed our position in 9th. So yeah, as I was saying, yeah, it's one of those things, man. Like, I'm not going to profess I've always been completely clean, and people make mistakes in either judgment or a technique or anything such as that. We ran a little wide there, might get a little half-second penalty for just running. Yeah, we did a little half-second penalty for running a little there as we come back on the first straight. But you know, when it comes to clean drive, it's so satisfying to overtake someone. And 8th has gone in for pit, so we might claim a position in terms of strategy, depending if we can keep it together on the tyres. So you can see we're coming in now to turn 1, and we've taken another hit from the exact same guy on the exact same corner. This is getting a little bit frustrating. Look, we're going to have another relook at this one. And this one's even worse. He's nowhere near being able to overtake, and he just comes in, brakes, and uses me to slow his car down, gets the inside line, and off he goes. So really not enjoying having to race against this guy who chooses to not try and make a clean overtake, but just if he's close to you, he's going to try and overtake you. So not a particularly fun way to race, but at the same time we've got to deal with it. Again, he comes away from that situation with no penalty whatsoever, whilst I'm still sitting for my half a second for the slightly going over the track limits. A little bit salty about it, if I'm honest, but you know, I think I've seen much worse examples of a GT Sports a penalty system not sort of doing its job. Although I've seen plenty of examples of it actually doing its job out of fire. I mean, earlier in the race we had a knock, and you know, person got a 1 second a penalty for hitting us, but this guy hit us twice in the exact same place, overtaking us in a very unclean way, but because it's not at tremendous speed and he's not knocking me well off the track, then it's seeing it as more trading paint than an actual intentional knock. So he's using the system to his advantage as we make a lot of, you can see there I was making so much distance on him here now as we come around to the same straight. Really tempted to do the same thing. Now I'm in his position on the same corner, but I wouldn't do that. Let's just wait and see as he actually goes into pit. So he's gone for the pit strategy as well, which actually pushes me up to 6th place. So we might actually be able to climb some positions just due to pure strategy here, because like I said, I don't plan to pit. And I'm going to skip forward now. We're actually skip forward into the last lap. You can see the lap timings there. A couple of slippages, sort of lap 8 and 9, but you can see I'm, and again on lap 6, you can see that's the one I took that hit and got overtaken. But you can see I'm sort of consistent race speed of 1:55, so pretty pleased with that. As we come round into this really awkward chicane, I imagine where we are in the race and how much grip I've got on the tyres, I'm probably going to take this quite cautiously and not take the dangerous line. Yeah, I'm staying on the track. A little bit of trail braking through here and get ourselves down to about 65 as we come out through the exit speed. Not the most efficient way of getting through that part, but it is the safest way of getting through there, where you're not really at huge risk of spinning out. If you miss that, if you come into that second apex at the wrong angle, you will smash into the barrier and it will ruin your entire lap. So you can see we're still holding 6th place. And we're actually not too far away from 5th, but not close enough to 5th to be able to make an attack and overtake cleanly. So unless he makes a mistake or I make a mistake, we're looking like we have secured 6th position, which, you know, looking back at lap 1 where we're, you know, dragged back into 14th and I think even dropped down to 15th at one point, to pull this up and work our way through a pack, and you know, those guys chose to pit for the fresh tyres thinking that they'd be able to pull it back on me, but I managed to keep control with worn tyres and keep at the race speed. So 1:56.5, so a little bit time lost there on those last 2 laps, about 1 second per lap through the lack of grip, but I am happy with that. I think from where we started to where we dropped to where we finished, I think you've got to be happy with that. So that's 30 points, and the position has been raised by 2 points. And yeah, like I said, I think if I was going at if I'd done a better qualifying, I probably could have ended that race in maybe a podium. I think, but you know, I think we ran a good race for where we started and for disappointing qualifying a section. So you can see now we got 30 points in that race. That brings his overall total up to 64. Looking at the lap chart, you can see we stayed in 6th right at the end of the race there, but let's go to the start and just have a quick gander through, because there's a lot of activity. So we dropped right at the start there. You can see it even goes out of where we can see, so we dropped down to like 14th. Then you can see by lap 3 we'd picked up to 11th, then lap 4 we'd pushed ourselves up to 8th, and then we had a little bit of dropping down there, a little bit of fighting I had to do going into lap 9, and then we retained 6th because everyone went into pit, and then we didn't lose that. So that is the lap chart. So let's have a quick look at the standings. So you can see here we are totaling on 34 points still. So basically the way it works is each 2 rounds you get the best of one of those 2 rounds, and that's what gets put forward into your total score. I didn't realise this, so it actually means that you don't have to turn up to every race. But so that leaves us 9th in the Derbyshire area. And here is our driver points. So you can see we've got a little bit of a lift on the driver points. So we're still in the C class. We're about 2,000 points away from moving into B class, which is something we'd really want to do to increase our total points we get through the FIA races. And the SR hasn't been affected. We're still sitting at 99. We still had a clean race. So we've had a positive impact on the DR, positive impact on the SR, and overall, I'd say, like I said, a disappointing qualifying, but I think I'm satisfied with the race, although we had a few little knocks and a few little bumps as we tried to get through, and that naughty guy from Poland trying to hit me off on, well, not trying to hit me off, but just using me as his a braking line to get through turn 1. So yeah, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with a manufacturer's race, which will take place on Saturday, so you'll probably see a video for that sort of on Sunday. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys really soon. Alright, cheers, bye.